Snoogans, everybody. What's going on, everybody out there in YouTube land? It's your guy Q, the movie collector, here again, back with another 4K video review. And on today's video, we're going to be talking about a late 90s comedy classic. How can I describe this? I mean, the thing is, you get a comedy that's filled with an all-star cast, um, you know, made by a studio, put out by a studio that at the time period they were infamous for, putting out of like a lot of indie films. I don't want to call them indie films, but they were kind of like the company that put out that made the smaller guys actually appear more famous. And I'm talking about Miramax. I mean, you got Tarantino, you've got Kevin Smith, and you got I forgot who the guy was that did Good Will Hunting. You got them too. But yeah, but on today's video, enough of that. We're gonna be talking about 1999's comedy classic, Dogma. So yeah, Dogma. Um, I have to admit, I have not seen Dogma as many times as I've actually seen Clerks or Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back or Clerks 2. I still haven't seen Clerks 3 for that matter. I've only seen Chasing Amy once. But I will say this, when I got this in, this was probably my fourth time watching this. And I owned the DVD back in the day, like the special edition DVD. It had the nice little artwork on the front that was pretty cool. But I never owned the Blu-ray or any other format of the movie since its release. But Dogma, this is the movie that a lot of people say is Kevin Smith's best movie. And I have to agree. I have to agree. Knowing the fact that he wrote this film and directed this film is just an achievement. So Dogma, it follows Bartleby and Loki, played by both Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. They find a way to try to get back into the pearly gates, but knowing that they could get back into the pearly gates, they know that it could be the end of existence and practically God himself or herself. And so they have Linda for Fiort. I do not know how to pronounce her last name. Fiorentino. Anyway, the chick from Jade in Men in Black. She's basically summoned by Alan Rickman's character of Metadon, who basically says, "Hey, look, there's two angels on their way to a Catholic church to enter back into the gates." She thinks it's, just a dream or whatnot, but the whole little meeting between those two is super funny. And then he tells her that you're gonna have I think he said a visionary, which he was speaking of Jay and Silent Bob. And so she ends up getting with those guys, and then you have Chris Rock's character of Rufus that falls from the sky. And you also get Salma Hayek's character. I forgot what her name was. Gosh, what was her character's name? But anyway, her introduction in the movie is a classic scene. I want to say a lot of people who remember this movie a lot, that know it word for word. Her introduction in this film was a classic scene. Just think of Candy Girl from New Edition. That's all you need. Um, and then in that same little introductory scene, you get pretty much the shit demon. Which that's all funny all on its own. But overall, man, I mean, you've got Jason Lee who's in this movie. You got who else is it? There's George Carlin, who also is he's a Catholic priest in this movie. Who introduces the Buddy Christ statue. And one of the things is about this movie is they really play into, a lot of the um, biblical or Catholic um natures of this film. That's why at the very beginning there's a few messages that pop up and say, this is just a joke. This is not to be taken seriously. Don't come at me. So it's meant to have fun. And but yeah, this movie here, I mean, it is by far, I am quickly reminded by watching this that this is Kevin Smith's best movie. No matter how much I love Clerks, no matter how much I love Clerks 2, no matter how much I like Zack and Miri or um what's the other one I just mentioned? Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. This is his crowning achievement. And he lets you know that. He definitely lets you know that. But this is the Lionsgate edition, Lionsgate Limited Edition. And I do know in Australia there is a umbrella release. Now, I want to say there are a few things on this release that are only exclusive to this Lionsgate Limited release, which, and I'll get into the special features here soon. And there are some things that Umbrella got. And basically, just me looking and comparing the features between the two, there's a lot of newer film special features for this edition of Dogma. Whereas the Umbrella release, they have a little bit of the newer stuff, but they have a lot of the archival stuff on that edition. Which that edition, if you know Umbrella, they make huge chunky boxes. They give you a really nice set. They give you, art cards, posters, the whole shebang. So it's a very beautiful edition. So if you're one of the lucky few that were able to secure a copy, thumbs up to you. I wasn't able to get a copy. So, and I'm okay with that. And I'll get into why I'm okay with that right now. So, you've got when you first pop the disc in. I mean, literally when you first pop the disc in, you get an introduction from Kevin Smith. And it's one of those introductions, like you'll get a lot of cheesy introductions from a lot of directors when you watch a lot of movies. But this one just felt like he spoke to us as physical media collectors. He really lets you know that he explains the importance of physical media, why it's so important, and he thanks us for actually buying this movie. And he's glad that it's able to sit on a lot of people's shelves where you can just go to it, pull it off, and watch it. Kevin Smith is a huge supporter of physical media, and he lets that be known in the introduction of this. So, and then you get also, which is on the 4K disc, you get Revelations Making Dogma. Man, I want to say I think this is one of those exclusive features that's only on the Lionsgate Limited set. It is a full-blown documentary where they talk about from the very beginnings of the creation of Dogma, where Kevin Smith basically said he wrote Dogma. That was his first movie script he ever wrote, even before Clerks, and he called it God. And so he goes into he tells a story about how they went to cons and watched Pulp Fiction, and he explained how Pulp Fiction inspired him to change the entire landscape of his script called God, and what eventually became Dogma. And he was talking about, how he got to working with Ben Affleck and how they were discussing Chasing Amy. And then Ben Affleck was like, no, I need something to do while I'm on this huge trip going back to Boston. Like, give me something else, man. I can get through Chasing Amy. So he gave him the script to Dogma, and he absolutely loved it. So at that point, he just couldn't stop talking about Dogma. This was even during the filming of Chasing Amy and afterwards. And the rumors about Dogma just spread like wildfire. And pretty much a lot of people wanted to get involved. There are people, you learn in this documentary, there were people that were supposed to play different roles. You even hear about the conflict between Chris Rock and Samuel Jackson in this, which I thought that was an interesting story. But you get that, which that, like I said, that's an amazing documentary. You also get establishing the shot with Robert Yeoman. You get a Dogma Q&A, which this is basically Kevin Smith at one of the screenings for the Dogma restoration, where he answers questions from people that's in the theater. Um, you also get more sermons from the Mount, which I think these were kind of like outtakes that didn't make it into that documentary, which still tons of great information. You get the original theatrical trailer, the 25th anniversary teaser and theatrical trailer, audio commentary with Kevin Smith, Ben Affleck, Jason Lee, Jason Mewes, Scott Moiser, and Vincent Pereira. Optional video hijinks on Blu-ray only. And then you get technical commentary with Kevin Smith, Scott Moiser, and Vincent Pereira. Deleted scenes with intros, outtakes, Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash commercial, Judge Not, and Defense of Dogma, the 2001. So you get the 2001 documentary in this too, but I believe that's on the Blu-ray, which I will tell you, I didn't even get a chance to dive into the special features on the Blu-ray just because I enjoyed that brand new documentary that's on the 4K. And then you also get storyboards, original PSP introduction of Kevin Smith, Show West, Convention Sizzle, Easter egg, how Jay thinks Kevin directs Easter egg, how Kevin directs. My opinion by Miss Harriet Wise, UK teaser trailer, and TV spots. This is jam-packed. If you're a fan of this movie, I don't care which edition that you got access to get this. Definitely get this. But anywho, let's talk about transfer. So this transfer, which I will let it be known that, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to look this stuff up, people, but this is an inner positive transfer. It's HDR10, no Dolby Vision, and I thought it looked amazing. I thought it looked fantastic. And I just want to say, like, just because you find out that, a transfer is inner positive doesn't mean that it sucks. I've watched tons of movies out there that are inner positives or restored inner positives that look fantastic. And so don't listen to the naysayers that tell you that a release sucks because it's only restored from the inner positive. No, it still looks great. There's a ton of great detail in this. The colors in this was amazing. The HDR definitely shines in this. One of my favorite scenes in the movie, other than the Salma Hayek introduction, is just being inside the club scene. Because all the lights and stuff, you can see all the colors and everything, and all the exterior shots were pretty amazing. The grain remains intact in this transfer as well. I thought the grain was really nice grain on it, a lot of great motion and everything. And I don't know who did the motion on this, but it looked pretty great in my opinion. And then you also, with the audio, you get a brand new Dolby Atmos track, which I thought the Atmos sounded fantastic. It's not knock your socks off like it's gonna blow you away, but for it being an Atmos track, it sounded pretty darn good. You learn also in that, I'm gonna keep referencing the documentary. You learn also in that documentary that the sound guys, they went through and they edited this movie at Skywalker Ranch. So if you know anything about that, that's one of the premier places back in the day where you could go through and do post-production on sound editing. So the sound on this sounds fantastic, even with the new Dolby Atmos. Sorry, I'm long-winded. Long story short, this is a top tier release. I recommend it for anyone that's a fan of this movie. I just really hope that, Kevin Smith goes through his catalog and puts out a lot of his other movies. I mean, we're still waiting for a Clerks 4K, okay? I want Clerks in 4K. I want Clerks 2 in 4K. I want Chasing Amy as a Criterion release 4K. Lionsgate, you guys have those warehouse funds. Put out that Clerks 3 as well, because I still haven't seen it. To anyone that's seen Clerks 3, Let me know what you guys thought of it, because again, I haven't seen it. But anywho, that does it for the review of Dogma. And if you enjoyed this review, I know it's been a lot of rambling in this review, but if you enjoyed it, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. I want to hear your thoughts. If you've got access to both versions, I want to hear, like, if someone has both, like, break it down in the comments. I want to see what the differences are. I really do. Because I'm not gonna lie, I really wanted that Umbrella edition too, but I was late to the party, so they yanked it away from people in the US to buy it. So, but yeah, that does it for review. And as always, thank you guys. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace.